Hello, everybody. Startup guys, get ready. Welcome to our second Global Innovation Startup Competition. It's an absolute pleasure to be here, bring some fresh ideas in entrepreneurship and capitalism to the discussion. We have outstanding startups competing today. Some of them flew from far and away, from Toronto through Europe, United States. So we are very excited to have them. First of all, I'd like to introduce the judges here. Michael Stankowski. Everybody knows Michael.
So nice to see you.
He is the chair of the panel of judges. Liz?
Lisa.
First time, Lisa, sorry. First time, but not the last time.
Yeah.
Helping us out. Don.
Don
Everyone knows
Davidson.
Don.
I'm USDOD.
And we are also going to have Armando Castro from Silicon Valley Pillsbury's venture practice. We are going to have Kathleen Polisi, incubation expert, also from Silicon Valley. Rich Vestudo, who is running a partner group at a large consulting practice and accounting practice. Alan Black, who is a technology expert with 40 years Silicon Valley experience, both venture funded and privately funded companies. And we just had Muril, please say a couple of words. Hi.
Merlin Rajan, I'm the Associate Dean from the University of Scranton, Pennsylvania.
First time joining us, hopefully not the last time.
Yeah.
So without further ado, at least please call on the startups. While the first one lines up, a couple of words about the way we look at companies. The juror guide details the different aspects of a business. The overall idea is how big the idea is and how prepared this team is to actually capture that idea. So we look at the business idea, how important it is, how relevant, and the team, if it's able to execute that. So without further ado, Elise, please introduce the first startup, and then the second one should get ready.
All right. All right. First this afternoon is, sorry, I'll just do the introduction. The global trend shows that drones will be one of the fastest growing industries in the upcoming years. Gurgo Ellenreiter, and Laszlo Sili, co-founders of Eriu, flew here from Hungary to introduce their solution. They are a team of positive psychologists and computer scientists. They worked for a big international company, but they gave up their well-paying jobs to focusing on scaling up their business. Please welcome them.
Welcome everyone. First of all, I would like to thank you for this great opportunity in all of the teams that we can be here. I'm Gary.
And I'm Laszlo. We are Eriu from Hungary, a small software company which is using drones for inventory management in big warehouses.
According to our research, storing is a $100 billion big industry, not counting the value of the goods. Most of the companies lose billions of dollars because of the difference between the inventory data and the real physical stock.
And let's just take a simple example that how does an inventory management process looks like nowadays. Forklift driver moves around with his machine and lifts up two people in a cage up to 50 feet. While he's moving them around in the warehouse, they are reading the barcodes by handheld barcode reader.
This process has many disadvantages. For example, forklifts are very expensive, use a lot of energy. The process is slow and not accurate. The people, because of the mistakes, are really boring at the job.
And in contrast to that, Let's take this commercial drone, which runs with our software. We are using this, and with the help of this, during the inventory management process, someone only needs to drive the drone around in the warehouse, which is much more safer.
Not just safer, but at least 5 times faster. Our solution is accurate, our drones don't make mistakes, and it's so much fun also.
We also found some other companies which are developing similar solutions like ours, but we have a big competitive advantage that we are using commercial drones. So this makes our solution easy to use, easier to implement, and requires less technical knowledge to maintain and operate. And last but not least, we do not need to develop a completely new hardware from scratch.
We are working on this project roughly a year. Since then, we validated our solution on Nestlé, IKEA Industry, and Sanofi. And now we are working on the implementation into their warehouses. Additionally, we already have 8 other industrial partners who are interested in our solution.
We are a team of 4, 3 engineers and 1 lean manager. We know each other nearly for 10 years, some of us even from secondary school. We have been working together since university years, where we participated in many competitions, including door programming. Since then, we are working on revolutionizing the inventory management industry. Next to this, we started to work on a completely automated solution, which will completely change the game and will eliminate any human mistakes from the process. This is why we are raising $350,000 US, which will be used for developing the automated solution and will be helpful to scale up our business.
We are looking for investors and business partners with industrial connections, so please feel free and come to talk to us if you are interested. Thank you very much.
Perfect timing. Thank you.
Questions first from the audience, please. Sorry for you.
Thank you.
Anybody? Hang on, the mic is going your way. Are you a good catcher?
Are you good?
I just wanted to, it sounds really interesting, but most of us didn't hear because your microphone, you're too far from the microphone, so I wondered if you could take another sort of minute and a half for the rest of us. Maybe the judges heard, but we didn't hear anything about the
It's okay with me, guys.
Okay, so, and you have to just go right close to the microphone. Thanks very much. Just a quick summary of the project.
Thank you. So we are using drones in big warehouses.
Now in the microphone.
We are using drones in big warehouses, and we are saving money and time for the companies.
Our solution is based on commercial drones. Our competitors use and build completely new hardware from scratch. We are just using commercial drones. So this is why this solution is easier to implement in the warehouse. It requires less technical knowledge to maintain and operate. And also, if something happens, you can replace it easier, you don't have to rebuild the special hardware. And we are looking for industrial people and also industrial connections also to scale our business in North America. Because we have already 8 companies in the inventory solution in Europe, but we are trying to get wider and wider.
We not just save money and time for the companies, but our solution is a much safer solution because companies don't need to lift that people to the air. Today, the current methods are 50 feet or 50 meters high. People are there and working there. It's could be really dangerous as well.
Any other questions? Luke, did they answer? Anybody else? Okay. There goes the mic.
Good morning. So is the main use case that you're using the drones to do supply chain management and inventory control, where you like also able to scan barcodes from it and do autonomous flights through a warehouse to determine what the inventory levels? Is that the main use case?
And if you don't mind, introduce yourself so they
Hi,
are.
my name's Grady Johnson. I'm with CGI.
Exactly, yes. Our focus on the inside flying, so in the big warehouses.
Autonomously, or do you fly by wire?
Today we have our MVP. It's a manager job, but it's only one people. Most of the cases, that's because it's 5 million 5 times faster. For our partner, we were 9 times faster because they were doing the inventory management with 9 people, with 3-4 kids. We can do only with our drones and 1 people.
I will just have one more sentence. Our main task is do the imagery, but next to the second use case is when, for example, something is missing or people do not find something in the warehouse. It consumes many time by us looking for it, but it is exactly okay. And after you have a drone, you can just start a flying drone around the warehouse and you can find it much quicker than, for example, to find 4K ladder and put them together and make it find it.
Morris Maloney from the Global Institute for Food Security in Saskatchewan. A great presentation and very creative use of AUVs. Could you just explain a little bit more your pricing model and how you actually do make money out of this? Is it through effectively leasing software, or do you work on a square foot basis or whatever? Just give us an idea how you make the money from this.
Thank you very much for the question. We have a one-time implementation fee as a software company, and we have a recurring revenue after this software usage. So we are making money by selling software licenses.
Okay.
Any other questions? No? The jury is going to ask the questions later, so thank you so much, guys.
Please. Yeah. Marshall. Yeah. Announce Marshall.
Alright.
Please.
Next up is Marshall Ring. Marshall Ring is a recognized Canadian leader in early stage technology commercialization. Named on multiple patents and an active angel investor. Marshall has been involved in company formation and commercialization of early stage technology since the late 90s. He is committed to providing executive mentoring and building a strong network for Manitoba Technology Accelerator member companies. He has great reach in many national markets, service providers, and investors. Marshall holds a master's degree in natural resource management, specializing in community economic development. He also holds an undergraduate and first degree in cultural anthropology. Please welcome Mr. Marshall Ring.
Thank you very much, an excellent bio. I'm glad I had the opportunity to write it. So everybody has a personal story where you can remember having a 40-year-old person going out to shovel the driveway, playing hockey, and then has a massive heart attack. And usually the cause of this is buildup of plaque in your arteries. The problem when you have plaque buildup is it's not a lot of physiological indications. You don't change color, you don't get tired, it doesn't hurt. So my name is Marshall Ring, and I'm the CEO of Material Assessments. We're a pre-revenue medtech device company which is aspiring to own the emerging $2 billion total addressable market in the space of detecting plaque in your arteries. As mentioned, there is no physiological indications that are really telling them to say that you have plaque in your arteries. But there are now an emerging billing code. So what this is doing is it's creating a wonderful economic opportunity for devices to come in as insurers, governments, and employers are paying to have the test done to determine how much plaque people have in their arteries. There are competing devices out in the market. The primary devices are premised on using pressure to get a digital volume pulse wave. We have a competitive advantage against that. The existing devices cost $30,000 to $50,000. They take a technician to what we've done is we've taken this old concept of centralized, specialized, heavy CapEx, and we replaced it with distributed, personalized, and affordable. We've displaced a $50,000 machine with this connected to software. Now, the most powerful part about the factories and software enables us to change the business model. We are no longer a CapEx company selling a medical device. We are going to give this away just as we give away cell phones in that business model. We're going to charge a monthly subscription fee or a pay per use depending on the market we go into. So our disruptive advantage enables us to introduce an entire new business model, which is almost software as a service. Our accomplishments to date are that we've gone into China. We've got 4 premier hospitals in China conditionally sold for $40 million of recurring revenue on an 80% gross margin. The conditional approval is subject to China SFDA as well as getting US FDA. We're 3 months into both those processes. We'll have that completed by 2018. We've got a team in China that does general manager, we've got product, we've got regulatory, and we've got sales. We have the same in the US with a general manager, product, regulatory, and sales. Thank you.
Everybody was able to hear? Yes. All right. Question there.
Where are we starting?
Left. Oh, okay. We can start with Sebastian.
All right.
You're number 2.
Cool. This is Sebastian out of America. It was a very great presentation. I think it's a very innovative approach. What I would be interested in is 2 things. Number one, what you're proposing is basically using different technology. You compare the weighted approach versus the traditional one. Have you done any measurements in terms of how those 2 different approaches are matching up to each other? And number 2, it seems promising with your approach. Are there potential other use cases for which your technology can be expanded to rather than just one that you're primarily developing towards at the moment?
Yeah, thank you. Excellent points, which I wasn't able to include in my presentation. Part of our accomplishments is we've done 5 preclinical trials in 3 different countries, which compares our pulse wave approach required for light against the traditional tonometry approaches. And we have correlated to FDA and SFDA cleared devices in each of those 5 preclinical trials. And we're doing a fast follower strategy in North America against a publicly traded company, one of the market leaders out of Australia. They have to do publications as a public company, so they're actually doing all the evangelization, including technical publications. So the device does work, and we have reams of science to support it, as well as primary preclinical trials. Your second question of where else would we look into the market, I'm a huge fan of getting to revenue as fast as possible. The fastest way to get to revenue is by measuring plaque in the arteries, or vascular elasticity, as it's called. We do have a platform technology, however. We can detect, for example, arrhythmias within the heart, but there's no billing code for that currently. And the shape and the form of the waveform that we acquire actually can identify people in a pre-diabetic state. So we do have other applications to go into, and we plan to make this more robust than a single product offering. But because we are so focused on revenue, that is all we're pushing through on the FDA and SFDA path.
So just a question about the capability of the technique. Can you actually distinguish between unstable plaque and stable plaque in the arteries? And if so, does that have implications on the regulatory pathway?
We're not making that claim on the regulatory pathway because, again, we're trying to limit the claims to get to revenue as fast as possible. I would, at this point, say that I don't believe we can determine whether the plaque is stable or unstable. We're simply sending a message out, think like a bat, sending out the echo and getting it back. I don't think we distinguish between stable and unstable. But we've got a team of PhDs that would be better able to answer that question.
Any other questions? No? Thank you so much. Oh, was it a question? No.
Just a picture.
No.
Thank you, everybody, for your interest.
All right, next up is Kristen Beck-Baker. She is a serial entrepreneur with 15 years of experience building technology-based companies that solve everyday problems. Currently, Ms. Baker is the co-founder and CEO of GPS Inc., a mobile platform that provides human-to-human video and audio language interpretation on your phone from somewhere at any time. Prior to GPS, Ms. Baker co-founded 4 other companies, serving as CEO for 2 of them in the areas of online marketplaces and cross-cultural market development. Ms. Baker also worked for Monitor Company, a leading strategy consulting firm acquired by Deloitte, and is the Chief Marketing and New Markets Officer for an international nonprofit organization concentrated on education, language immersion, and multiculturalism in over 80 countries. She has a diverse background, working in company and team building strategy and international growth expansion for organizations from startup to Fortune 50 status. She holds an MBA from the Wharton School of the University of Pennsylvania and a BA in political science and Russian from the University of Pennsylvania. Please welcome Ms. Baker.
I don't think I realized I dressed to blend in with the red velvet curtain in the background. Bonjour, mesdames et messieurs. Parce que j'ai beaucoup de respect pour la langue française, je vais continuer en anglais. Good afternoon. I've had the pleasure of meeting many of you in the last few days and know that many people in the room are multilingual. And I'm wondering if any of you have still experienced some of the problems that I have when I travel today because I don't speak local languages. There's 7,000 languages in the world and we can't be expected to know them all. Despite my language, I run into these challenges trying to get a taxi in Shanghai and to tell them where my business meeting is, or trying to pick the right train in Seoul, or I'm in a wonderful restaurant in Brasilia and I want to understand what's in the dish that I'm looking at on the menu. And today, I know many people who are very successful and they travel all over the world, and yet there's anxiety when you're going to places and you don't speak the languages. I talk to many small businesses that don't engage with international partners or clients because conference calls and meetings are a challenge. With the GPS mobile app, we are empowering you with language. Our GPS mobile platform will put a live human interpreter on your phone via video or audio anytime and anywhere you are in the world and at affordable prices. So with a few swipes of your thumb, we can access you an interpreter in any language, often in any dialect, with cashless, easy transactions. We're now putting the control of your experience back in your hands. You shouldn't be limited by where you want to go or with whom you do business with. The language industry today is bigger than you think. It's about $40 billion plus, growing at 8%, one of the fastest growing industries in the world right now, estimated to be $45 billion in 2020. But the language industry itself will tell you that it is limited by 2 factors. The first is the number of customers. Right now, this is an industry that really serves businesses, not individual consumers. We will serve the individual consumer. These businesses have to be able to afford 25 to 1,000% markup on hourly rates for their interpreters. The second limiting factor are the number of providers. There are currently 60,000 interpreters and translators in the world right now, and all of these language service providers are using this same pool of people. That means you can't possibly put somebody on somebody's phone or computer or have them there in person for interpreting whenever you need it on demand. There's simply not enough people. We are going to target the untapped provider base of 4 billion people. That may sound crazy going from 60,000, but hear me out. There are 70% of the world is multilingual. And many of those people, many of those multilinguals are limited in their ability to earn additional income because of where they live, because of opportunities where they live, because of gender, because of disabilities. And we are going to, just like Airbnb and Uber, disrupt our industry by leveraging the crowd and by giving these multilinguals the ability to sell their language skills for money in their spare time, on the weekends, in the evenings, whenever they're able to. With using user ratings and quality control, we intend to activate this indivisible language workforce. They don't need a car, they just need a phone. And wherever they are in the world, that instantly makes them a language entrepreneur. So we have everyday language people solving everyday language problems. And we estimate a lot of these problems will be solved in less than 10 minutes. Our business model is that linguists do not pay to register. Customers pay to use our service and they pay by minute. That payment goes down more minutes that they use. But for instance, 10 minutes for $10. With an addressable market of 1.5 billion travelers each year, and unfortunately more than 60 million displaced people and refugees in the world, we're quite confident in the number of user bases that we have. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Questions from the audience?
Hey, great presentation, thank you. My question would be, like, they teach in schools English. I come from Europe, so they teach English there also. There are a lot of movies that are only in English, so most of people understand English, basically. And my question would be, is that how many potential customers would you need to reach break-even point, and how would you do it, and when it will occur?
That's a very good question. So we are looking at, and while I understand, and there's often an argument that a lot of people in the world speak English, 60% of the world does not speak English. That's over 5 billion people. And in a lot of places where we go, you don't want to, issues are sometimes dialectical issues. And I'll give you another example. Right now, China is about to launch a huge initiative. By 2030, they'll have invested $3 trillion in infrastructure building. And they're estimating that they were going to employ about 4 million people all across Asia who actually have to work together in different Asian dialects. It has nothing to do with English, and they'll all be communicating with each other from Chinese to Japanese to Vietnamese to Korean, etc. And it's a great market pool, actually, for our space. From a break-even standpoint, our financials look very interesting. We're targeting about 160,000 users in our first year. And that actually will grow up to, to 2 million in year 2, 7 million in year 3, and all the way up to about 43 million, we think, by 2022. If you're looking at a user base of about 43 million people, about 6 uses per year, and you assume that we make even just $4 per use or so, it's $1 billion market by 2022.
Hi, my name is Daniel. I'm from Hungary, and I really like the idea. And I travel a lot, so I really study Hindi. My question is, when I travel, I usually cannot use mobile internet because it's super expensive. Like now, we are here in Canada, from Europe, it's very, very expensive. So how can I use the service without using mobile internet? Thank you.
That's also a very good question, and one of the reasons that we're looking at both video and audio options are to kind of be more flexible there. There are lots of different technologies that we can leverage now that give us better access to this, and without a doubt, there will be places in the world where this will not immediately be accessible. But there are bigger companies than us right now, some who have attended this conference who are working on that problem, and we're pretty confident in the next few years, by the time we're ready to get there, they'll be ready for us.
Any other question, Sarah? Oh, another one. Oh, sorry.
Hi, my name is Lydia. So we're seeing lots of disruptive tech companies who are providing employment for people in all sorts of different countries and cities around the world, sometimes come into conflict with city authorities or employment regulations in different areas. There's lots of different regulations that you need to comply with in different countries. And I mean, this sounds like a really interesting idea, and as you say, there's a huge pool of potential interpreters. Have you done any thinking about how you would comply with the regulations in these different countries? And will you be targeting certain countries first for interpreters?
That's a great question, Sylvia. Thank you for mentioning that. We've had a lot of discussions, and we've had discussions with a lot of our colleagues at companies like Uber and Airbnb, where they're dealing with a lot of regulation issues. A lot of those issues are not issues that we face at this point. And we've had a lot of conversations with different countries. And the conversations actually right now that we're having, I would say in Eastern Europe, South America, and Africa, with countries are that they see us as a way of actually transitioning people into the workforce. And these are people who can work from home. So they see us as being able to help, again, people who are limited by geography, by access, by disability, or by gender. Sometimes that's because of where they're living, sometimes that's a cultural reason or a religious reason. But they see us as actually being able to give them an option for making more money. We've talked to a couple of international women's groups, which see us as being, again, a way of actually moving more women into the market. Most people don't know that OPED put out a study that if we were to close some of our gender gap, we could put 12% more people into the immediate global workforce tomorrow. And that's some of our goal. We're sure that we'll stumble across some regulation issues, but in the conversations that we're having with countries right now, they have not come up. In fact, we're actually talking to a conglomerate of companies across ASEAN called ASEAN MTI, where they're looking to work with us to create a central hub that will provide a place where all translators and interpreters across ASEAN can go in order to be connected to opportunities.
Hi, Sarah. Sarah from Bigger Languages. It's a great idea. My question is, how are you going to compete against the kind of technology like in China? In my cell phone, I have this software download free, iFly. That software can translate instantly. The accuracy rate is so high right now that some courtroom right now get rid of the recorders, and they just use this software if there is other language, whatever. So how are you going to compete with this type of situation? And suggestion is that if you need maybe to licensing this kind of software into your system so that it can take part of your load, workload. And maybe this is an idea.
Thank you, Sarah. I was sort of hoping someone would ask that question. I was like, we've talked so much about AI and machine learning technology all, this whole conference. I was waiting for that question. We are big fans of the development of machine translation and AI, and we believe that it just kind of serves to empower the language brand and the importance of language around the world. However, and I'll quote a New York Times article from June that I did an interview with Google and was looking at a bunch of the AI developments, and as they say, but at least for the next decade and beyond, there are many interactions and jobs that will continue to insist that human beings want to talk to human beings. It doesn't mean that if you've got a sentence that you want to translate to somebody, you won't type it into Google Translate and show them. You will, why not? You'll do it. But it does mean if you're looking to have a conversation or an interaction and you need to be able to process the person's answer and you need to be able to kind of go back and forth, you're going to need something more than that. And so with all of the research that's been done right now, humans still want to talk to humans. And while we know that the progress is going to be fantastic and we applaud it and we're looking at different ways of integrating it into what we do going forward, we believe we've got a very important window for a while to diversify the other side of that market, the human-to-human part of that market.
Awesome. Very good. Thank you so much. Number 3.
All right, next, Marianne Chimono, who's CEO of Ahobora. She currently works in health digital Marianne works in health digital transformation for more than 27 years. She was first in a big pharma company as an IT manager in the R&D department, then as an institutional relations manager of an organization acting on behalf of the French Ministry of Health. For the past 7 years, she has been an independent consultant in e-health and e-agriculture, now a federation of IT companies dedicated to health and social affairs. She is the CEO of Ahobora, as I just told you, a new services operator to help fragile populations to stay at home with all the commodities and services they need, including e-health and e-well-being services. Please welcome Ms. Marianne.
to apologize for my English. Even this exercise is not easy in our mother tongue, but in another language it will be quite challenging for me. So, what is OAOA? OAOA means Life or Health Companion. And we choose this name because the Tahitian culture, Polynesia, French Polynesia, is a peaceful culture, and people there are very dedicated and take care of the others, and especially of the elderly people. So the vocation of OAOA is to allow our elders and people with fragility to stay 5 years or more at home or in mobility in best conditions because their needs for safety, health and well-being are met. So how are we doing this? By federating and simplifying solutions to everyday problems encountered by our subscribers, and also to increase the quality of services, which is very important. So our motto is enjoy your life, we will take care of the rest. And we provide 2 tools. One is a conciergerie, that means a platform of services, call center, accessible remotely, in case we have human interlocutor necessary. And the second tool is what we call a life companion. It's a mobile application acting as an assistant and proposing a digital service bubble around our subscriber. Digital services provide this kind of solutions that you can bring with you wherever you are. And our aim is not to hold people at home with Big Brother's facilities, but also to facilitate their movement to tourism activities or whatever place we want to go. So we are very, we are at our early stage moment. We are 7 people in the team, and we are at the time when we are trying to find customers and investors. And we have several bigger customers who are willing to work with us. Mainly health insurance, because health insurance would like to implement different kind of business model and with more prevention than care and cure. We have also hotels, because tourism places would like to implement new services, and they have no real offer for senior or elderly people or disabled people. And they are willing to implement IoT for health, and also platforms of medical doctors that we can reach 20 hours a day. We have also real estate customers, because for construction and not only for the renovation, these people think that now smart buildings should include not only domotic services, but also numeric digital services for everybody. And this should be evolutive, because you buy a flat when you are 13 and you are in great shape, but you have an accident and you become a handicapped person, and you have to pre-equip this flat with services you can afford in your entire life. So that's it. So it's I have to conclude that it is a company labeled as a company of social economy, because as you imagine, we find that ethic and empathy is very important in this business. We want to create a lot of employment, we want to create business, but we should do it with an ethical point of view, because we are facing with human people who are in fragile situations. So we don't want to do a lot of money on the shoulder of our elderly people.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you. Questions?
Thank you for the presentation. I'm sorry, I'm from Hungary, and I would like to ask, who are your competitors? I haven't heard it, I guess, so that's my question. Thank you.
Good question. In fact, the market is quite ready, and we have competitors. Mainly big companies. I don't speak about GAFA because they have the capabilities to do that, but big companies like postal companies or water companies, these companies has local implementation, so they know in a city or in a rural area, they know the territories, and they imagine they can bring these services to local areas. What I have experienced is that these companies are too big to be agile, because the consortium of service we are building should be adapted for each territories and each programs. We couldn't do the same thing in Paris or in South Arabia or in the US. It depends where you are building these services. And these companies cannot do this kind of very tricky buildings and so on. And also, our competitors are conciergerie, like in hotel, you have concierge. And generally, you have two kinds of concierge. You have luxury concierge for very rare demand. And you have neighborhood concierge, which give you contact with your plumber or your electrician and so on. But they don't, both of them are not providing with health services, because health is a risky service. And that's why hotel would like a third party to take care of health risks. They don't want themselves to be responsible of a heart attack in a hotel. They want someone else to do this.
All right, thank you so much.
Next, I'd like to introduce Wally Fredholm, a software architect with 20 years of professional experience with another 10 years of programming experience, who currently has the privilege of leading the best software team in Canada. As CEO of Sightline Innovation, Wally has the business mandate to cut short pathways to commercialization for the most impactful technology in our lifetime, artificial intelligence. Please welcome Wally.
Hi there. Yeah, actually the best, what I'd like to say is the best software development team in Canada is just up the street, about 5 blocks. So it's great to be here, and I didn't have to come as far as many of the other presenters, so it's great to have you all here in Winnipeg. Sightline Innovation is one of the longest standing artificial intelligence companies in the world. In Canada, we've been working in deep learning research as a startup, probably longer than most other startups out there. Over time, we've adapted our business model to be focused on basically machine learning as a service. So our core product is called MLAS, or Machine Learning as a Service. I'd like to point out that we have the trademark on that, which kind of gives you an idea of, it's a highly sought out mark. So we just simply got it because we're early, not because we have good lawyers or anything like that. Our business model really has changed in the last 12 months. Before, we used to go and talk to customers and have to explain why artificial intelligence would be useful for their business. Now we find that they're coming to us with that knowledge already in hand. So they already understand why they want to use AI. And so instead of trying to convince them that AI is important, what we do is convince them that you don't want to build your own AI team. It is incredibly hard. The barrier to entries are higher than they've ever been for any other technology ever, by a long shot, I would say, unless you're fabricating chips or something of that nature. So basically the ROI for us is, if you wanted to build artificial intelligence functionality and put it in your product, you're probably going to get a handful of PhDs and stick them in a room and feed them and pay them and things like that and wait 18 months and you might get something. It takes a lot more than PhDs to make a usable product that's integrated to industrial automation systems on the line, to satellite data or whatever it is. The PhDs and the mathematicians are really just one part of that. So our ROI is basically to give you that functionality at 1/5 the cost and 1/5 the time of doing it internally and get you there quicker. Because the world's going to change in 18 months. If you launch an 18-month project, it's going to look completely different. And it gets faster and faster. Competitive market advantage, we're basically the only company that I've seen in the world who really has a platform that's replicatable. So, obviously the big players like the Googles and whatnot, they're essentially selling computational resources that are for engineers, but we replace that. So we're not consultants that are just engineers for contract hire. We actually have a platform that's replicatable, and that makes us unique. Closest competitor is probably H2O AI out of Stanford, but they're open source, which is a different business model. In terms of problem and solution, basically I've already talked, it's incredibly high barrier to entry. The world changes fast, your needs for artificial intelligence integration change faster, and you really need to cut those times short. The money is a great, to save money is great to do along the way. In terms of target market, in the verticals that we've tried over time, being first to the AI game or very early would be manufacturing, healthcare. Some of those quantify to be very large, but if you want to think of total addressable market, it probably can be realistically reflected as a percentage of GDP. So, it's a little bit different. I mean, Industry 4.0, is it going to make it so artificial intelligence could be 5% of total GDP? I don't think that that's an unreasonable number. And obviously, in a, whatever, a $25 trillion North American economy, 5% of that's still pretty significant. And in terms of the team, we're 35 to 40 people, engineering staff about 22, 23. I lead most of the engineering effort, except I have a lot of PhDs to help me with the math that's really kind of mind-boggling. We have a great scientific working group, experts in the fields of infectious diseases, artificial intelligence, business, and pretty much most of the topics that we touch on with our customers. And that is what makes us unique. So thanks for the time.
Right on the dot.
Any questions?
Questions?
All right. Cool.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Next, I'd like to introduce Philippe Scheiman. He is an educator, systems entrepreneur, and a consultant. Philippe has been involved with many interesting internet-related startups in Israel, Europe, and the US, such as In the Mood, Expression, Sparkio, SOS Travelers, and Compare Sante. He has been a consultant to large and small organizations, including Pelephone, Oil Refineries, Netafirm, Electra CP, and Seabridge. Let's see, he has published papers and given talks and conferences in the field of ICT, sustainability, management, education, innovation, well-being, and e-health. Welcome, Philippe.
Hello. In Israel, we've already solved the problem of water. So now we're coming to another problem, is how to solve hunger in Africa. And what we do is that we use mobile phone and permaculture. We actually mix the chutzpah from Israel and the expertise from Kenya. I'm sorry that our partner Emmanuel, who is the leader of GoIP, a very successful IT company, could not come here because of visa problems. So what we intend to do is actually to establish a center in Nairobi with an interactive e-platform for farmers and a maker's room to develop permatech solutions for the farmers. The problem of the farmers, people in Africa, apart from starving also, is that they really lack knowledge. They don't know so much, I mean, they're farmers, but they don't have so much information. The little that they receive from the government or agencies is printed papers. I mean, there's nothing out of it. And if they have to buy some solutions, these are expensive solutions. Now, the good thing is that Kenya has almost everyone has a mobile phone. They are even more innovative than most of us because they actually transfer money from one phone to another. And what it is that we want to develop a call center for farmers, and we are actually using the expertise that GoIP has. GoIP has developed a platform for the teachers, for the Ministry of Education, so they know how to do it. And you may ask, so where's the money? On one hand, it's clear that all of the farmers don't even have money to make calls. So there will be free calls for the farmers, and governments, agencies, and foundations will provide support for the call center, just like they did with the call center for the teachers. Now, what it is, and we've already seen it in terms of our experience, bringing some innovation from Israel to young professionals in Kenya, is that, you know what, young professionals really don't care about agriculture. Give them a Raspberry Pi, and they're going to be a permatech expert. Permaculture and high-tech. So it's really a switch in it. And so where the money is that we're going to get some input from the farmers and from various places into the kind of problems they have. The people, the young entrepreneurs will be actually developing solutions and distribute the products to the farmers. Now, why are we the best team? We are actually, on one hand, as I said, GoIP is the IT company based in Nairobi that has all of the technical expertise. We are collaborating with Rodi, which is an NGO that has been more than 20 years training for in permaculture. And Eyal and myself, we bring from Israel the innovation in terms of startups, and Eyal has been also working with Kenyans for the last 8 years, turning victims into active users. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions in the audience?
Hey, thank you for the presentation. I'm Victoria, still from Hungary. So my question is, what is the innovation in your service and what kind of added value does it have for the agencies you want to reach?
Okay, that's a good question in terms of innovation. One thing is that there's a lot of unemployment in Kenya. People get some degrees and they don't have any, they cannot solve real problems. If they receive some open source technology, they actually start creating solutions that are much cheaper than the solutions provided by companies, from the Western world. Also the companies from the Western world don't know exactly how the needs of the people.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Awesome. Next one.
All right. Last but not least, we have Stephen Lofos-Marin. He's the founder of Digital for Leaders. After some leading positions in strategy, marketing, business development, and sales in telco, aerospace, and defense, guiding also C-level on their tremendous digital and security topics. Stephen is currently gathering key people and expertises to start the startup to increase the marvelous digital potential with business and social concepts. He is aiming for answers on holistic topics, connecting fantastic human and digital potentials to develop momentum and value creation for countries, institutions, and companies. Please welcome Stephen.
Thank you, Lizzie. Dear jury member and everyone, I'm honored to be with you to provide you what we want to do in our society. I imagine you are discussing every day with startups, companies, institutions, and people. Do you learn from them? I'm a company, an institution, and I need to be innovative, to be competitive, lean, and develop new digital opportunities. I will have big and huge investment to have transformation digital plan. And I need, of course, to develop partnerships with an ecosystem with a lot of skills. I'm a C-level, a leader, a manager for voluntary programs. I'm using more and more digital, but I have difficulties to quantify digital value and to have the good metrics to manage my programs. And with all this technology, there is a lot of great technology, a lot of great skills, but it's rare skills. How can I attract all this talent? And I'm a people, a citizen. I want to be safe in my country, around the world, on my activities, and I need to trust in my ecosystems, political, media, and companies. We know important world challenge and needs are systemic, and we have to consider it in a holistic way. For these kind of matters, Digit for Leaders is building and gathering a park of trust mutualized digital platforms to easily create ecosystems and share data value, and to provide strategic, actionable, and transparent metrics for governance and shared governance. We are at the early stage with three complementary people building strategic partnerships to implement a first use case and leverage with this development and investment. This solution will be built by the best of breed of neutral and trusted partnerships with blockchain and artificial intelligence skills, and it will be non-exclusive. We want to allow value creation coming from ecosystems for a more fluid and transparent world. Thank you.
Thank you. We have time for one question from the audience. No questions? All right. Thank you so much.
Wonderful audience. I really enjoyed the questions. Now the jury is going to elaborate. We are going to call those startups who make it to the final rounds, depending on the score, the top 3 or 4. We are going to have that announcement shortly after 4 o'clock. Thank you so much again for your attention.
Give the announcement, or you will give the announcement at the end of the 2 sessions. Like that, everyone will get the announcement. Okay? So you wait only one of you.